Okay, now we're going to apply what we've done the last couple videos. Okay, we have x to the third power plus x to the second power minus 16x minus 16 equals 0. So now you have three answers. So for x's, we have x to the third, we have the x to the second, and we have x. And there's also a constant. So obviously it's quite apparent you're going to have to apply factoring properties. So I put a 1 there, 1, negative 16, negative 16, okay? This is a quadnomial, okay, 4 terms. Or you can just put 4 terms, I don't care. You don't do GCF. What you set up is what I had yesterday, a big box that says grouping. Give yourself some room down here. So for grouping, you put parentheses plus parentheses, then the same thing with little GCF lines outside, okay, and then a line on a parentheses and then a little parentheses there. Now after that's done, underneath this you're going to make a thing that says DOPS question mark. That's how you want to handle that, okay. It'll become from this parentheses here, difference of perfect squares. So we put the 1x to the third with the positive 1x to the second. Then you put the negative 16x with your negative 16 constant. So I do have a variable, it's to the second power. I do not have a negative sign. 1 and 1 would just be 1, okay? Now find what goes here. Do you have an x? Nope. Do you have a negative? Yes. You are always going to have a negative. I want that as a negative or it's screwed up. So if they're the same number, you put 16 down there. Okay. Now we're going to divide by 1x to the second up here, and then we're going to divide by negative 16 here. So 1 divided by, cross out the x's in the last division. They cancel. That's 1 x third divided by x second. Remember how that works. X. Then 1 divided by 1 is 1. Okay. Now over here you're going to get the same thing. That's positive 1x, and then negative 16 divided by negative 16 is positive 1. Okay, so what do the parentheses match up as? 1x plus 1. Okay. Cross that out and put 1x to the second. Now if it's negative 16, you write minus 16. Now you take that 1x plus 1 and bring it over here. Actually cross out the 1's in front. You don't need those. X plus 1, okay. Remember that came from here. Now we need to see if that can be broken down into a difference of two perfect squares. So we have the minus, x to the second is x times x, and 16 is 4 times 4. So x, 4, 4. So don't put that, put x plus 4 and x minus 4. Now it's factored. Now you got f1, f2, f3. So x plus 1 could equal 0, x plus 4 could equal 0, x minus 4 could equal 0. So you minus 1 and you get negative 1. Minus 4, you get negative 4. Plus 4, you get positive 4. Answers. Okay, my next problem, we have 2x to the third power minus 3x to the second power minus 18x plus 27 equals 0. So there's 3 answers because of the x to the third. Now you've also got x to the second and x to the first. X to the first means x. So you are applying your factoring properties. Okay, so you're set. I should have said we were on the first one. Now you have 4 terms. That's 4. Just put 4 terms. Don't worry about the quadnomial or whatever. Okay, so grouping, and you put 2 parentheses with a plus sign, Then the same thing with little GCF lines outside. Everything's the same except we're going to pull out some greatest common factors. Then little parentheses, big parentheses, and in the big parentheses we could potentially have a dots. Okay. Alright, so you put the 2x to the third power minus the 3x to the second power. Then you put your negative 18x with your positive 27. So I have x to the second. I do not have a negative, and then 2 and 3 are in the first row. Okay, so 1. In the second parentheses, the second binomial, the last term does not have that variable. It does, the first one does have the negative. Put a negative in the slot, okay? Because of that. If the first term in the expression's negative, you need to make your GCF a negative. Now the actual GCF out of the coefficients, 18 and 27, nope. 18, 27 would be 9, okay? So, you need to divide by 1x second. And up here you need to divide by the negative 9. So it's we know that these x's cancel. Not here. That's 2x minus 3. 2x minus 3. So we have 2x minus 3. So cross those out now, and you put the 1x to the second with the negative 9. The 2 stays, the 1 can go in front of the x's. Well, that's a minus x to seconds, x times x, and 9's here, that's 3 times 3, okay? So you take that 2x minus 3, and that comes over, okay? So x, 3, 3. So x plus 3, x minus 3. And there you have it. F1, F2, F3. So 2x minus 3 could equal 0. X plus 3 could equal 0. X minus 3 could equal 0. So I plus 3 and 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. You can put 1.5 if you don't like decimals, second PRB. So either put 1.5 or 1 1/2. I don't care. Okay. Then minus 3, and you get negative 3. Plus 3, and that's positive 3. 1 1/2, negative 3, positive 3. Okay, moving along. X to the third power minus 6x to the second power minus 9x plus 54. Okay. So you have 3 answers because of the x to the third. Now what else you got with it? You have an x second and an x. So we're factoring properties. 0, set, okay. So grouping. You don't even really need to draw a box if you don't want to, okay. I mean, I'll do it, but it's parentheses plus parentheses. Then the GCF lines outside of the parentheses, then little thing there, okay? GCF. So I put the 1x to the third with the negative 6x to the second. Then I put the negative 9x with the 54. Okay, so what's going to be the GCF in here? Well, x to the second definitely goes. This is positive, so I don't put a negative. It's positive. 1 and 6 is 1. There'll be no variable. The first number is a negative, so that means the GCF has to be negative. Okay, 9 and 54, so there's 9, 54, so it's 9. Okay. So I divide by 1x to the second here, Since that's what I'm factoring out, I'm doing the opposite of distributing, the negative 9 here. See, you just putting a 9 there is going to screw it up because these won't be the same. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. Cross out those. It's going to be x minus 6. And that's the same thing, 1x minus 6. So within each of these, we have 1x minus 6. Then in here, you're going to put the 1x to the second with your negative 9. Oops, I forgot the dots thing. Difference of perfect squares. Okay, take your 1's off. The one with the x minus 6 goes over here. It doesn't have a power. The dots comes from here because that's x to the second. That's x times x. 9 is 3 times 3. Okay. So x, 3, 3. So we've got x plus 3, x minus 3, and put that equal to 0, and then we solve it. So x minus 6 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So you add 6, and you get 6. You minus 3, and you get negative 3. You add 3, and you get 3. There they are. Okay. Next problem, then I'm going to do number 2 with you in the video. You'll have to do numbers 1, 3, and 4. Okay. I'll do this one. 1x to the third, 5x second, minus 16x negative 8, minus 80 equals 0. So there's 3 answers. You have the x to the third, you have the x to the second, you got the x, okay, so you're factoring. Okay, you see 4 terms, you're grouping. Okay, no GCF necessary. We'll be doing some GCS, but not from the whole thing. Then GCF line plus GCF line, greatest common factor. That'll need to be checked for dots. So you have 1x to the power of 3 plus 5x to the power of 2, then the negative 16x minus the 80. Okay, you have x to the second. That's a positive, so this will be positive. 1 and 5, that's going to be 1. There will be no variable. This is the first front to numbers negative. You have a negative in front of the expression, so the GCF's negative. 16 and 80. So here's 16, here's 80, so it'd be 16. Okay. Then you go up and divide by 1x to the second. They will cancel there. And here you will be dividing by negative 16. Okay. So that's 1x plus 5. And over here, that's 1x. Negative 80 divided by negative 16 is plus 5. So you got 1x plus 5 in each parentheses. Then you put the 1x second with the negative 16, minus 16. Take the 1's off, and you put the x plus 5 over here. And then this is minus, that's x times x, and 16 on that chart. It's down here, that's 4 by 4. So it's x, 4, 4. So you have x plus 4, x minus 4. So F1, F2, F3. So x plus 5 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. So it's negative 5. negative 4, and positive 4. Okay, now, a couple things I want to point out. You do number 1, I'll do number 2 right here. Number 4, you're going to get in a lot of trouble when you group those together. The GCF's 4. Okay, 4 and 4, the GCF's 4. You can't put 1 or it's not going to work. If you have the same number, then the 4 is the GCF. I'll do number 2. Okay, so 3 answers. X third, X second, X. Okay. Okay, so you're set. You have to factor with all those different X powers to solve the equation. So you have 4 terms. So grouping. Okay, and these are GCF lines. Remember to get the plus in between it. And then we check that big one for adopts, difference of perfect squares. Question mark. Okay, I put the 4x to the third with the 7x to the second, negative 7x, and the negative 16x with the plus 28. GCF, fill in the GCF lines. Well, you got x second. That's positive in front, so the front's positive. No, so we keep the GCF as positive. 4 and 7 just in the first row, so it'll be 1x second. Okay. No x. We have a negative in the front, so you need to make your GCF negative. Then 16 and 28. Okay. They're in 4 row. See, they're not in 16's row. They're not in 8's row. They're in the 4's row. Negative 4. So you're dividing here by 1x to the second. Sorry, and you're dividing here by negative 4. Okay. So cancel those x's there. 4 divided by 1 is 4. X third divided, again, I'm going to show you why that is. Why I'm always putting x, because if I divide the x's, it's x. Minus 7. And over here, it's going to be 4x minus 7. So within each parentheses, we have 4x minus 7. And then we have the 1x to the second with the negative 4, so it's a minus 4. So the 4x minus 7 goes over here. You drop the 1, okay, you don't need the coefficient 1. Then x times x, 2 times 2. So x plus 2, x minus 2. F1, F2, and F3. So 4x minus 7 could equal 0. X plus 2 could equal 0. X minus 2 could equal 0. So plus 7, 4x equals 7, divide by 4. 7 divided by 4 is a decimal. Okay, you can put that or second PRB, it'd be 1 3/4. Here you just minus 2, takes you to negative 2. Here you're going to plus the 2, and that takes you to positive 2.